been real good too. All right, so let's play this tempo deck. I've been playing a little bit to get started. One of the things that there's two key things about this game that I've really enjoyed from a gameplay perspective. The first is the resource system in this game is fantastic. So instead of having lands or resources directly in your deck, you can take any card in your hand and burn it to gain a resource of that color. So basically any of your spells can also be land, so you never flood or screw, but there's still colors in this game, so you get a lot of deck building depth like you do in Magic, even though you don't have lands, which is great. The second thing that I find really innovative and engaging about the gameplay in Mythgard is that the combat system is super elegant, and more importantly, it's super interactive. So you can see I take this card and I drag it down to the bottom, and it's gonna give me a purple colored gem and 1 total resource. I don't have any 1-drop, so I can pass here. This card costs 2 resources to play, and it requires that I have 2 purple gems to play it. Mythgard is in open beta at the moment, so it is not considered a released product, but I haven't had any crashes while playing it, unlike some other software products that I've played recently, so. All right, so I'm gonna burn this second card here, and then I'm gonna deploy this unit onto the board. And when I deploy a unit, I can place it anywhere on the board. And similar to Hearthstone, in this game, your minions can directly attack other minions, except there's a blocking aspect and a positional element to the combat in this game too. So for example, when I mouse over this card here, you can see the 3 lanes across from it light up. So this card can only be blocked by or attack the 3 cards in front. Mythgard overlay, good call. Forget the extension doesn't load automatically. This game also has a built-in overlay, which is excellent. So, I probably want to put some blockers over here, so I don't take a bunch of damage from these things here. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn a second color card now. Let's, what do I want to burn? Let's burn the mourningwives here. I played Mythgard for 7 hours yesterday, didn't have to restart it once. So I'm gonna go ahead and deploy this minion here. And this minion has an effect where the minion in the lane directly across from it gets its strength locked to 0. So you can see this went to 0 because it's directly across from my unit here. Yes, you can only burn 1 card per turn and it's optional. So in decks like my deck that are more aggressive and have a little bit lower curve, you generally stop playing resources about 5, 6, or 7. And then in control decks or mid-range decks, you usually want to go up to the max 10. Yes, you only get resources from burning cards. So now, unlike Hearthstone, where you can always attack your opponent's face directly, because I have this unit here, both of these units on my opponent's side are obligated to attack this instead of being able to attack me directly. So this card says, after you play a spell, return it to your hand with ephemeral. So ephemeral basically means it kind of turns it into a token card or a one-time use. Are there ramp equivalent cards? There are some cards that ramp you, but not a ton of them. All right, so what do I want to do here? This card also says when your opponent plays a spell, shuffle this into its owner's deck. There are not counter spells in this game. So this game does not have a priority-based system like Magic. So when you play games in here, it does, you do play most of your cards on your, most all of the cards play on your turn. So I played a kind of permanent power-up that gives my unit +2/+2 and regen 2. So damage normally stays on units at the ends of turn in this game, but this allows it to heal 2 life every turn. So I think I'm going to go ahead and attack this down here. Why do we have different life total startings than your opponent? So there's an incredible amount of deck building depth in this game. And one of the things that you choose while deck building with your deck is called a path, which dictates how much starting life you get as a modifier off of 20. And you also get to choose a power, which gives you something extra you can do with your resource every turn. Did I forget to burn a card? I think I forgot to burn a card while I was clicking and talking there. Yeah, they're up to 5. I forgot to burn a card. Whoops. It'll be okay. So burned cards are not gone forever. So the way burned cards work in this game, and you can actually see this over here, because this game is as excellent software, has an in-game deck tracker. So for example, I'm gonna go ahead and burn this Sword Saint here. So I'm gonna burn this, and you'll see a second Sword Saint pops up on the deck tracker here on the right side. So after I discard a card or burn a card for resources, it goes back into my deck. It also shows me here my opponent's deck tracker, so I can see all of the cards that they've burned off, and I can mouse over them and see what they do. I can click on my opponent's thing here, and I can block, mute, or follow them. I can view their profile and see what current rank there are, the highest rank they've ever achieved, what their collection looks like. So a lot of the software surrounding this application is just really, really well done, which is something I appreciate. Oh, one feature request I would like that I frequently forget to do is that little badut noise was reminding me that it's still my turn. This game doesn't auto pass when you're out of legal game actions, and sometimes, especially when I'm talking, I forget to pass the turn when I'm done. Yeah, the game is a very good tutorial when you first start playing. I do still have a bunch of Mythgard codes for the next 2 days. So if you're interested in giving it a try, I can give you some stuff to get you started. Yikes! All right, so that was mind control. Take control of an enemy minion in an unoccupied lane. What did Watsy do today? It's hard to put into a TLDR what they did today. I'm gonna make a video on it later. All right, so they took my 6/5. I think I'm just deploying my 1/1 over. Am I? I'm kind of in a bad spot here. They have both of these over here. They're down to 2 cards in hand, though. Suppose I could just play Magus out here, and then he does 2 when he comes into play, so he'll get to trade with this if they attack with it, so that's fine. If you want a Mythgard code, direct message me on Twitch or on Discord if you're a sub, and I will, I'll send codes out later this afternoon. This resource system is similar to Hex. The threshold kind of system is it's actually not. It's not similar to Hex, it's different. Yeah, I've liked the genre of art in the game too, that's for sure. I think WotC could announce that Historic is a temporary format while they work back to Pioneer. Maybe. No, that's fine, Nivik. All right, so normally each turn you can only move or attack with a unit, but my special power here allows me to spend 2 resources to do both. So we're actually going to get back to a pretty okay spot here. So my thunderclap deals 2 to all of my opponent's minions and them, which will kill this and make this a 3/2. And then I can trade this here. And then I can burn a card to get up to 2 resources. And then I can give this a free move action to slide it down. and now this can trade here. So now the board's clear, and my opponent only has 2 cards plus a deported in their hand, and my hand's pretty reasonable at this point. So feel like we're almost back to parity, or maybe I'm a little ahead. Yes, this resource system does make it difficult to play all of the colors. I agree with that. As of right now, there aren't good fixing to play super heavy color decks. Mellow Harsher, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so what do I want to do here? I think I'm just going to Lantern Colossus. So Colossus is a super powerful piece of top end. It's a 5/7 with Overrun. Then when it comes into play to be, give you a card called Immolation Cloak that gives me a power up. A lot of the purple cards create power ups when they play out. So I can put this here, and even though this can't attack the first turn it came into play, at the end of turn it's going to deal 2 damage to all of these lanes, so it'll kill this 1/1. This game is literally made by a small indie company out of, I believe, California. So they're based out of the US, and this is the only game they make, I'm pretty sure. This game does have a free-to-play option. I also have a code that'll get you a bunch of wild cards and 10 booster packs if you're interested in giving the game a try. So drop me a message and I'll send codes out this afternoon when I'm done streaming. Sorry we had issues with the codes. A couple of them, some of the random ones were reporting not working, so I had plenty of them though. Did the overlay unload again? Twitch is so buggy lately. The magic extension's been broken too, and the Mythgard overlay randomly unloads itself on Twitch's end. The Mythgard overlay should be back again. Thanks for that. Should be back up again now. All right, so what do I want to do here? I'm at 21 still, which is still a pretty high health total, and they're at 20. I might just want to attack them. I could also move this down 2 by moving it once with this action, then moving it with my hero power. I don't think that's necessary though. I'm gonna start by playing the runesinger over here. The runesinger has a mechanic called energy, which is kind of like loyalty. It's a point system that's attached specifically to this card. So this card once per turn can plus to draw a card from my deck and then shuffle a card from my hand back into my deck. I think I'm actually just going to throw back in the one that I drew. The overlay, unfortunately, does not allow you to view the current deck list. That is one feature I definitely wish it had. So I'm going to give this a +1 attack power up so these trade in combat if they want to attack me. I'm going to hit their face here because, again, this unit can't block because only the 3 spaces in front of my guy block it. And then I can sack this guy to draw a card, and then we'll pass. There are 6 colors in this game. I did not ever play Spellweaver, no. They deported my guy back to my hand, that's fine. Need to replay him next turn. There's a website called mythgardhub.com where people post deck lists. You can also go into the client and watch replays of people on the ladder and copy their deck lists from there. They have a guitar player of their own. Yes, you can watch replays of people not on your friends list. That is correct. Hit them for 5. And then I want to put some guys down here so I don't just get run down on these lanes. So here's a card type that I haven't played yet. This is an enchantment. And the way enchantments work in this game, you play them on a specific lane, and then any minion in that lane gets the special power-up dictated by the enchantment. So this enchantment I have here, the Seahaven, gives the occupying minion the mechanic called Agile. And what agile does is it allows you to attack past blockers, which is really powerful. And it gives the minion occupying it armor 2 on your opponent's turn. How much have I spent on this game currently? 200 or 300 bucks. I play as a whale in basically every game that I play. Vomit. Well, that was unfortunate. So, what happened there was my opponent played 2 power-ups on their unit and then also played the agile, the same enchantment that we had, which allowed them to attack pass to hit my face. Never not did. It was very Embercleave-esque. It was very, very Embercleave-esque. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree to give Wizards credit where they deserve credit. WotC handled the Li Shijian and Hong Kong thing very well. Oh, that creature automatically had agile. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't read the full Pioneer announcement because I'm sure I'm gonna really enjoy Pioneer at some point. I just like the details surrounding how all these things have been handled lately. It's just left me really frustrated and sad with Magic at the moment. And we'll play more Magic again tomorrow, but I just needed to be done today. All right, so something that's awkward here is that my 1-drop is purple, but my 2-drop is blue. And so if I play this on 1, I can't play this on 2. I think that's probably okay, though. There is unfortunately not a Stream Decker analog for this game. So the extension lets you mouse over the cards on my hand, but it does not have the ability to look at the current deck list that I'm playing. Yeah, I'm not gonna burn the 3/3, but I don't think playing it out on 2 is super important. Although, now that they played a 2/1, feels a little bit bad. So I'm going to burn a blue card here so that way I can work my way up to playing this on turn 3. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and play the other Steam Bun out here to trade with this 2/2 eventually. We have mentioned a couple of times that it is Election Day in Canada. If you are a Canadian, feel free to remember to go do that. So Rush minions can attack right away, and Rush is just super powerful in this game in general, just because it basically turns your minions with Rush are basically like removal spells. So I have Thunderclap here in my hand that lets me deal 2 damage to my opponent and all of their minions. So I think I'm going to set this up for next turn to kill both of these, so we'll take another hit. So I'm going to burn this transfusion for now, and I'm going to play this over here, because this in this lane on the right over here can't get attacked by these because these only attack the 3 lanes in front of them. Well, at least we didn't take that 3/2 to the face. Yes, there is not a defined combat step in this game. So the turns are fluid. You can play cards and attack in any ordering or mix that you find optimal, which gives you a lot of sequencing decisions. Yeah, a mix of the ban announcement and what's it called? The new format announcement is why we're currently playing Mythgard early today. We are actually sponsored. So the Mythgard people took note that I was playing and enjoying their game, and they offered to pay me to do some sponsored segments. Although, to be honest, even if they weren't paying me to do sponsored segments, we'd probably be playing Mythgard today after the crap that WotC did. The deck lists end up on my YouTube videos after the fact, just like in Magic. But unfortunately, there is not a Stream Decker style option for this game. So this enchantment is like really good in my opponent's aggro deck. It gives all of the minions in this lane to attack and overrun, which lets them beat me down pretty quickly. What do I want to do here? Yes, overrun is effectively trample. That is correct. So I need to put some more blockers in front of this. So this sword saint here is one of the more powerful cards against aggro in this game. It gives you a power-up that gives a minion not only +1 attack, but it gives it life tap as well. So strapping this biting blade on a large minion gives us a good way to gain a bunch of life back. Thanks for the 23 months, Fizzy Dragon. That's an 8/6. So, they're down to just one card in hand here. So I think I'm just going to burn a bunch of power-ups on here and trade. We put green-blue henge in the queue. Yeah, definitely, Dude Light. Sorry about that. So I'm at 8, so I'm probably dead here. We're probably not going to play a lot of this deck. This is a deck I threw together last night, went like 2-2 with it. It doesn't seem particularly good. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to play Historic tomorrow now. Like, I kind of want to just refund people's money from Historic and just like, because obviously WotC doesn't give a shit about it. All right, so let's put the Biting Blade on here, which gives this life tap. And then we'll put this in the Giant Stairway here. Hit you for 12, gain 12. The old 24-point swing. So they're at 13, and like I'm at 16 now. So like if they don't have a removal spell here for my giant dragon, they're gonna have a real bad time. Well, that did 7 damage to it. Yeah, definitely, Beansy. What did you put them to before? MTGA might not be great right now, but at least Portillo's never disappoints. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna put my fossegrim down here, and the reason why I'm playing this down here is so that way, if they kill my dragon next turn, I'm able to slide him over into the Giant Stairway and get my beatdowns that way. Okay, so this is an 8/8. When it comes into play, it deals 4 to me. So I think we actually stole this one. Because Spirit of Way here. Oh, actually, this has Agile, right? So I can just hit their face directly. Yeah, they're actually just dead. Oh, perfect, Beansy. All right. That felt a little bit medium to start, but the Sword Saint on a big monster pulled us through in the way that I was hoping it would there. Let's try another one. 3 and 3 now. Agile is kind of like flying. It's a form of evasion. So agile minions basically get to ignore blockers. So like normally when there's a minion in front of your minion, you can't attack their face directly. But when something has agile, that's not the case. There are not instances in this game. So the immortal dragon is not immortal, if that makes it doesn't quite follow super easy, I guess, but so this is a celestial dragon. No, it's not called immortal. It's a celestial dragon that gives your opponent a ring when it dies. All right, so that's a 2-1. Looks like another aggro deck here. We're gonna go ahead and burn the runesinger here and then deploy a 3-3. 3-3 on 2 is pretty good. Seahaven, if we can get a minion on it, tends to be very powerful in this matchup because it gives a minion armor 2 on their turn. So if they want to attack with this, they have to attack into my 3-3, which isn't a particularly profitable attack for them because my 3-3 will eat their 2-1. So the celestial dragon can be damaged. So the celestial dragon is a unit that has a downside of giving your opponent a ring of eternity. So the dragon isn't immortal. The dragon gives your opponent something to make something immortal after they slay your dragon. So this dragon as an 8/8 for 6 is hugely above rate in this game, but it has the downside of giving your opponent a power up, basically. That's the only way out of the mess, in my opinion. But if you look at the Pioneer announcement, it explicitly says it's not coming to Arena. So this Seahaven gives this minion agile. So even though there's a blocker here, I can hit their face directly. And on their turn, it gives this armor. So basically, this card lets me attack around their minions, and it makes it hard for their minions to attack into me. Really been impressed with this card in this deck. So you can see here one of the tactical positioning elements of this game that I've really enjoyed. So my opponent's playing an aggro deck here. So they've spread out their units on lanes 1, 4, and 7 to make it most difficult for me to block, which is good play on their part. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn this dragon here. And then we're just going to go ahead and clap my opponent, which you can see. I love the visual feedback of what's going to happen. You can see when I hover this card, it tells me it's going to kill their board. It puts skull and crossbones over all of them. So let's cast that. And then hit their face. The Oak of Donata, so 4/3 immobile, so this one can't move. And then it says Demise, they get to Divination 3, so look at 3 cards and then draw a card. So let's start by hitting them for 3. I'm still at 18 here, so I kind of need to decide, do I think I can just race them or not? I think we're in a position, especially with the Sword Saint, that we can race them. So I think I'm going to burn Back Alley Rowan here. And I'm going to go ahead and play the Jotun over here. Yeah, with Sword Saint, it feels like I can just head off to the races. Because Sword Saint creates me a power-up that gives a unit lifelink or life tap. Which makes it really difficult for my opponent to race. So this is a bike that attacks for 2, and my minion's currently fragile. Alright, well they're able to run down my big guy. Okay, so they're at 14. The question now is, do I want... Have a good one, Mono. I think we're just starting by attacking their face again. And I need to decide, how do I want to set up to block here? So Back Alley Rowan's a 6/5 if I hit my opponent for this turn. I think I want to burn this Seahaven and deploy my 4 and my 2. But I kind of think I want to put this guy over here, so they're pretty unlikely to engage with him, and he can just lifelink for 7 next turn off the Sword Saint. And then I'm going to go ahead and deploy my Thane here so it blocks these 3 lanes. They have a 3-2 with rush here, so they might just trade that for this. If they have another rush minion, we might be dead. I'm going to be posting a video on YouTube tonight talking about why I think WotC sucks. So, for people that are wondering at that stream title, there'll be some info up on my YouTube channel tonight. I just don't. I can't currently process. I don't feel like processing live why I'm upset. All right, so this plays actually seems really good for me here. They're playing defense over here. So I think I'm going to Sword Saint over here to soak up damage from this 4-3. And then, so godsblud transfusion. One of the things that's different in this game from Magic is if your thing has lifelink, it can only gain life equal to the amount of damage it dealt. So if I give this lifelink and attack this, I'm not going to be able to I'll only gain 2. So I think I actually want to spread these power-ups up. So I'm going to go ahead and put the godsblud transfusion on here, which lets this attack in and take 3, but then this is going to regenerate here. And then I'm going to go ahead and biting blade here and hit them for 7 and gain 7. So that puts me back to 12 and puts them to 6. Banish all minions with 4 health or more. Well, that was pretty brutal. Well, we were pretty far ahead, and then they had a pseudo sweeper. Any minion would be a good draw here because we get to deploy something on Seahaven. Oh, sweet. And this is the turn where my path is drawing an extra card. That's actually really good. All right, well, let's put fossegrim here and put valkyrie. Oh, that's awkward. Well, this is a good example of the resource system. So you can see here, this card and this card both take double blue. I only have 3 blue. So even though I have 3 resources remaining, I can't play this card out this turn because I only have 1 blue gem remaining. Which puts me in a medium spot, because otherwise if I would have been able to play both of these, I could have had them dead on board. Yeah, Pioneer's the format I wanted Historic to be. Need like a Sword Saint, or we're pretty dead. Well, that's a potential redraw. I guess it's also just a blocker. So they're at 6. This has overrun. This lets them draw a card if it dies, though, too. Pioneer sounds awesome. The implication of Wizards' announcement of Pioneer suck, though. And they suck for a variety of reasons. I'm going to make a video later explaining why they suck. I don't feel like doing it live on stream right now. This is a really close game. They're down to 2. I'm at 4. I get to put this here. I need them to, like, miss twice here. It might have been right. Oh, wait. No, I'm dead because this is fragile. Yeah, we're just dead. This overruns, and then we take 2 from that. I think we'd have managed to win that game if they hadn't had the sweeper. I could have also played around the sweeper that game by putting the +2/+2 on a different unit. So maybe I'm supposed to play around that. No, we're gonna play more Magic tomorrow. My general rule of thumb is if I'm upset with the game or I'm not in a good mood, I'm just not gonna play it, because me playing while pissed off is not good content. So rather than sit here and make bad content, I'd rather just play something else that I'm enjoying. No, I don't think so, Pump Fist. It's really not that different than needing lands and non-lands in Magic. Been a lot of red aggro so far today. 3 for 3. They played a 2-1. We'll play our 1-1 out that trades here nicely and then also gives us a power up. Hopefully they don't have a 2-2 with Rush here. That's the tilt. This card's really good to play over here though too. So this is a 2-3 that whenever an enemy minion dies, it fully heals. So I can go ahead and I can play this over here. So again, we can take any of the cards in our hand and burn them to turn them into a resource. There's no flood or screw here. When I play a minion in front of my opponent's minion here, they're obligated to attack. So they played a shock on my guy and then combined that with an attack into my guy to finish him off. So they played this enchantment here, which gives their minion an extra attack here. So I think what I actually want to do is I want to deploy my Seahaven enchantment here. So that way their enchantment is less good because it's going to be across from my good enchantment here. Yes, damage persists on creatures unless you heal them or they have like the regenerate mechanic on them. That's a little annoying. All right, so this enchantment not only gives the minion in it an extra attack, but when it dies, it deals 1 damage to everything else. So I think I'm going to burn this. I think I'm just thunderclapping here to kill both their guys. So we'll each take 2 from these. Magic the Gathering Arena has become a laggy mess every release. Every release makes Magic Arena, every update makes it laggier and slower. It's incredibly frustrating. So I think I'm going to burn this dragon here so I can play my 5-drop, and then next turn that allows me to burn a card to play a 4 and a 2 on 6. One of the things I really like about the resource system in this game is it makes it so it's very reasonable to curve out in a lot of the games that you play, because you get to choose which casting cost of cards you're burning to, which is excellent. I think Wizards' ban list update today was idiotic at best. Being generous, it was bad. A very little desire to play a game made by Riot. They are not a good company. They are not a company of good people who treats their people well. Okay, I think we might actually be stabilizing this, because they are mostly out of resources at this point. And this thing has armor for my enchantment here. Those are excellent draws as well. So I get to go ahead and just smack them for 6 in the face here. And then I'm going to go ahead and play the Rowan out, and I'm going to play this 3/3 out.
Let's do this.
And like, so one of the things that I haven't gone over yet, because it adds a little bit of depth to the game, you might have noticed some of my people some of my opponents have been getting minions from their discard pile back to their hand, and that's the path that this opponent is playing. So this opponent's path says, whenever 3 of their things die, at the start of their turn, if they have souls from the things dying, the bottom minion of their discard pile goes back to their hand. So next turn, my opponent's 3/2 is going to go back to their hand to start, and they'll get to draw a card. So if the card they draw for the turn is good along with this, we could maybe die here, because I don't have this lane blocked. One of the other really good design decisions I like about this game is they balance some of their cards by the number you're allowed to have in your deck. So the rarity of a card in this game is dictated, it dictates how many copies you can have in your deck. So for example, a rare can have 2 copies, a mythic can have 1 copy, an uncommon can have 3 copies, and a common can have 4. Which actually makes budget decks a lot better than they would be in Magic, because like if you budget a mythic in this game, it's 1 card out of 40, not 4 cards out of 60, which is nice. Are there unconditional sweepers? There are some unconditional sweepers, not in every color though. How is the currency in-game fair? It's very similar. I feel like the amount of stuff you get is comparable to the amount of stuff you get in Arena, and I think Arena is moderately generous. The actual crafting system is better than Arena's though, because in addition to this game having wild cards, this game also has a dusting system and crafting from essence. So you can get rid of cards you don't want and turn them into cards that you do. Yeah, I've played a big red deck a couple of times. That would be my recommendation for starting. You can easily budget some of the mythics out of the top end. The red aggressive decks, like the ones we've been playing against so far, are probably some of the best starting decks. So the different colors in this game tend to be more flavor oriented in what they do, as opposed to being like what mechanics they can do. So this game seems like it avoids a lot of the feel bads that like Magic has, where like, all right, you're playing a black deck, but so that means you can never interact with an enchantment. So I'm gonna start by burning my steam bun here, because I don't really need a second 1-drop, which gives me a resource and a purple gem, which lets me play a second steam bun out here. So again, oh, this was actually a really good draw. So this, I can't play this turn because again, it requires double blue to cast, but this costs 2 and only requires a single blue. So I can burn the mourningwives here to get a second resource and a blue color, and then I can go ahead and play this over here. What's my favorite card so far in this game? Insurance Broker is my favorite card, I think, followed closely by Panic Raider. Yeah, Magic doesn't do power level erratas. So this card's great as a blocker here, he says, before his opponent plays an enchantment, so they trade. This opponent is in Masters. This enchantment is really good. It effectively gives their minion like +2 attack, and they're just a bunch of rush guys. I wonder if I can just try and race them here. I think I'm gonna burn the Jotun, and I'm gonna go ahead and play Valkyrie over here. And then next turn, the Valkyrie can smack their face for 3, and then I can play back alley Rowan. As this gets bigger if I hit my opponents, this will be a 6/5, so I'll have a 3 and a 6. Although this sitting in here with life tap might make racing impossible. This is one of the cards I mentioned a second ago is one of the ones I really like. This is a starts as a 2/2, and every time it hits the opponent, it gets +1/+1, or it gets -1/-1, and they get to draw a card. So it's kind of like a deal 3, draw 2 in a way. the max hand size in this game is you can only have 10 cards in your hand during your turn, and you can only have 10 cards in your hand during your turn, and you can only have 9 cards at the end of your turn.
Easy money.
There's my 6/5. What happens when you deck out? When you deck out, you don't lose the game like in Magic. You take damage for every card you go to draw, but can't. So you take 1 damage, then 2, then 4, then 8. It doubles every time. So the dual colored cards always have a particular color on them that they give you. So I don't think I have any dual colored cards in this deck that I can show you, but if you have a dual colored card, it'll show you which color it's going to make. I'm playing my 1/1 here to block. I guess maybe I'm just supposed to play a 5/5. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to play a 5-drop there. I don't really want to put this in front of here. Are there any 3-color decks in the meta? Not that I've really seen. I have a 3-color control deck that maybe we'll try that one second today. Play a little bit of variety. I'm sure we're probably gonna burn some rank trying to play new things today. So could really use a thunderclap here to clear their board out. I just want to play an 8/8 in front of their things. The problem is, if this dies, it gives them a ring that powers up one of their minions. Yes, I guess I'll just play my 6. I probably should have just played my 6/6 last turn. The color around the ring is the color of the card. So if you have a multicolored card, the color/symbol here in the middle tells you what color it burns for. So we have a 3/1 over here. Next turn, their power is going to get them back a Panic Raider. I guess I just play this here to block their 4-drop. Really need to try and find a Sword Saint. I think I like the red decks the best in this game so far, because the red decks tend to draw the most cards. This blue-purple deck's like doing okay things, but it really doesn't draw that many cards, which made it feel kind of medium. They're colorblind assist options. All of the cards have a symbol that goes with them too. So rather than memorizing color, you can match symbols to each other. Is an option. You cannot use Mithril to craft cards. Mithril, think of it as gems from Arena. They're just the premium currency. Here. It's like, this deck does not seem good enough against, does not seem good against what the opponent's doing. He played against, red aggro a few times in a row. Yeah, Team Oko is dead. Yes, you can spend Mithril to create full art cards too, just like in Arena. Alright.